folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the wild landscape of Scotland. And today we're joined by a special guest, folks. Returning for this episode, the channel DJ is back. And today we've come to see a cool, it's been on a video last summer. It's like literally one of my favourite places that I found when I was exploring. And channel DJ has never been here for an adventure, so today we thought we would come back. There's extreme rain today, so we thought we'll come to a location that's got a roof and it's far easier to explore. So here we are, but it's actually the time of year there's a lot of shooting on Scottish estates. And when we were walking in the road end, the gamekeeper was in his truck. It looks like they might be going shooting further up the glen. So we're just hoping that we're not going to end up like in the middle of any of that. But we did see the gamekeeper in his little four-wheeler, and he stopped and he looked, but then he didn't say nothing. He just carried on driving. So we're under the assumption that he would have definitely said something there because he stopped and looked at us. But we're literally doing no harm on these adventures, folks. We're documenting a bit of Scottish history and then we're on our way. And sometimes it's so interesting to see the little nuggets of the past, which is like left behind from Scottish history. This time it's a little hunting lodge, and that kind of still ties in with what's going on the estates to this day with the shooting. But anyway, we'll update you once we're further up. I'll give the lens a dry. Check this out, folks. This misty, eerie, foggy looking stuff. It's not actually fog, it's just heavy rain. But we're right out in the middle of it. And it's so cool exploring abandoned places like this. When we start walking up, we never even know if we're going to make it there. Even now, we don't know if anything's going to crop up. Because there is a lot of people like estate goings on and stuff. Look at this, folks. Last time I came here, it was in the summer and it was still, everything was green and beautiful. And now look at it. It's like a true horror film location. So let's get in there out of the rain. The rain's so heavy right now. It's crazy scenes, folks. Just check it out. It's amazing we can take the viewers along on these adventures with us. Wow. Let's try and get in the door without getting wet feet. Check it out, folks. This house is actually an old hunting lodge. And the first time I explored it, I didn't even know what it was. Just watch. This is some of the worst bits of the floor. Here we are, folks, the craziest of adventures. The channel DJ is in this building for the first time ever. And when I found it, I couldn't even believe what I had found. See, we had to watch just like here and stuff where the floor's gone through. See the torch on this new phone? It's definitely not as good as my old phone. See, I believe this is where the telephone would have been. Wow, that's even more fallen out since the last time I was here. That's how it's cool to document history. It changes over time. Look at this here, each room, it was like a mansion house. And back then, estate families would come and stay in a place like this in the summer. It was like their theme park. And they would go shooting and then stay here at night. So a place like this would have rooms with service. Some of the people would bring their own butlers and maids. But also there was staff located here permanently. There's a little bit of a light bulb. Because there was actually cooks and maids and stuff like that as well. And apparently a story that I found out once I had been here, one of the cooks actually died in a room here within this building. And there was one room that was super spooky the last time I was in it. It wasn't anything like evil or anything that happened to her, but it was just kind of a story that did happen here for sure. And it's often cool with these videos, people were able to come and share some of the history the last time in the comments, and it's cool for me to come back and update the viewers with little stuff like that. But there is a spooky room within this property, and I'm waiting to see if the channel DJ picks anything up when he goes in it, see if he thinks that it's also spooky. There's so many of these rooms that would have been like bedrooms. There's just holes in the roof, holes in the floor. Every year it decays more and more. remains of the old like bathroom. Because of this house's location, it's literally built onto a bog, and you can see that with the water under the floor. Whoa, look, there's loads of mushrooms growing in there. That's so crazy. See, this has changed just in the few months since I was here, because it's such a, like a different time of year. It's a different mad vibe. Look at there. It's a scene of abandoned craziness. See, this was one of the brackets here for the fire extinguishers, and there is one of those fire extinguishers located in this property still. Look at this. See the setting now. All these trees are dead. Last time I was here, they all had leaves on them. I'm keeping the torch aimed at the floor here. There's just honestly like room upon room. See lobbies and corridors going everywhere. The rooms with the windows seem to be in better condition. This one is missing one of its frames. Wow, mad scenes once again out here, folks. Look at the wee fireplace. I love seeing little details of history like that. It's cool to update the history. Look at these, the way the old windows used to work. Looks like they were controlled from a string, and it turned that corkscrew, look, and wound the window open. Interesting old mechanics of a window, folks. Look at the wee blue tiles down there under the fire. Yeah, the last time I came here I didn't even know what it was, and I was theorising it might be like a scout centre or some old like holiday camp. But it was interesting to find out after that it was actually a hunting lodge. Yeah, some of these rooms are just kaput with the floors. That was a bit of wire that made that noise. It wasn't actually the floor going through. See that? That's that dangerous fire extinguisher I was telling you about. It's got old 1950s writing on it. Yeah, this would have been maybe potentially one of the main entrances at a certain time. And see that would have been unique for its era. That was like a heating system which was piped all around the whole building. Wow, see, this is one of the worst rooms. It would have had a like bay window there at one time. Now it's all gone. People have had multiple parties. Look at this old bottle. Oh, my torch has gone off. There we go, folks. Light up the bottle. Strathmore Springs it is. So that's actually a local bottle. Strathmore water, folks. It's still a company to this day. I believe it might have been bought over from the bar drinks makers. Just check the character of this with the old windows. Just imagine the people which may at one time have come out and in here. This could have been the pinnacle of their year, and the most fun thing they did. Then they looked forward to coming here for their shooting in the summer. Yeah, check it. It's like a tropical scene with all that rain today. All those green bushes. Most of the trees now have lost their leaves. This is so different. The sun was shining last time I was here. Look, that's a big hole we just climbed over the top of. I believe that was like a dining room in there, but the floor's really bad. Yeah, that fire extinguisher, it's proper, like 1950s. 1956, folks. The dangerous thing with this type of fire extinguisher, they've got sulfuric acid inside them and water, and when you push that plunger, originally the sulfuric acid like burst, and then a chemical reaction occurred, so the water came spraying out of that end. But the trouble is, the end blocks with the corrosion when they're abandoned and left. So if the chemical reaction occurs within that, the whole thing could potentially blow up. like a frag grenade. Yeah, I love this. Look at the old tin, folks. McFarlane Lang's biscuits, 1 and 6. And then the old newspaper. What's it saying here, folks? Oh, it's definitely written here. September the 24th, 1967. Guard dies after mystery of SOS cord. So there's a headline from 1967, folks. Wow. Yeah, here, that room that I was saying was eerie the last time. I've not seen it yet. No, this is the what would have been the kitchen. It is quite an eerie room actually, eh? Today. It's got a mad feeling in here. See, this is dangerous because if you stand at that side, there's nothing supporting the floor joists. And I went to take a photo of the fire last time and you could hear it creaking. But see, that cupboard door is actually holding the roof up there. Yeah, I need to find that room. Where is it? See, an interesting thing, right? Last time I didn't know what this was. But what it is actually where the rooms would have like rung for service. It must have been in 3 sections with those 3 little windows up there on the hang.
The roof doesn't look that old.
No, but you see, it's been painted and stuff, I believe, the top bit. Maybe for light they made it white. But there is bits of it, look at the wall and stuff. It often just looks brand new. Yeah. But then, under the surface, it's totally kaput. Yeah, the water's just streaming in underneath this back door. There's an old newspaper under the floor there. See, maybe rats or whatever, mice would come in certain times of the year. Maybe they'll live under the floor.
Careful there.
Yeah. Oh, there's been more birds living in here because I remember I looked at that newspaper the last time in there. Crazy history, folks. Yeah, that eerie room, where is it? Where is that room? I remember I came out of the room and there was a radiator on the wall opposite it. It's so cold today, I believe, like freezing. It's freezing right here. Yeah, it's not here though, because I remember. I'll find the room now. It must be this room around here. This was the room. But see, today it's not so eerie, I don't feel. It's because, see, in the summer there was like no light coming in here hardly. It was just like green. Here, my torch has gone off again. It was just like green though, like bushes outside. Wow, what a place though, folks. It is amazing how somewhere can look so different. Just different times of the year. You can see it's had crude repairs. Maybe somebody would have been staying in here. There's a whole newspaper, but that one's too far gone to even like read.
It's a weird shape, eh?
Yeah, the building, it's because it's a prefabricated building. They would have just put different sections of it together, joined it with corridors. But a unique thing for the age of the building, it had that heating, which was all done from that boiler we saw at the original front door. It was piped in. But look, see, that fire's been added in at a different time from here.
Yeah.
And then that goes in that direction. So maybe some of the rooms were upgraded at a different time. Look at the old plug with the 3 round pins. Bakelite. And then the light switch right there, folks. Yeah, look, this must be the radiator here that was added in at a later time. Because it's got that different pipe. And look at the character of that window, eh? It's abandoned Scotland at its finest once again, folks. There's the bell for ringing. Ring. And then that thing that we saw through there, the wooden thing, the wee red flap would have gone down and buzzed. So there you go, Channel DJ. Like, what do you think of this property here? When I first saw it, I could not believe it because the size of it, it's like unexpected. All these lobbies leading down. See, at this time of year, it's so much darker inside abandoned places. Yeah. Eerie. And it's so much more boggy. Yeah, it's just proper like spongy underfoot. This is just years and years of leaves here which is built up. Wow, these are all like, you can see it how they're prefabricated structures still kind of built and then joined together with those little corridors. Because even this lobby here has got its own little separate roof. It's amazing to see it. And I love documenting history and even updating it. The windows look a lot bigger. These windows here are so much bigger. So I'm not sure if that was like bedrooms, whereas some of the corridor windows are just wee things. You can hear the amount of water just like running off everything. It's crazy. And then there's little, what must have been the room that they had a bath in. There's a bath and an old sink back there. And then you can see the line where they've levelled the ground, see before they built it. Yeah. They've just levelled this whole patch here. Wow, what a place though, folks. Real abandoned Scotland, just hidden here in the Scottish Glen. I never give away exact locations of these places for vandalism's sake, but also structures like that are pretty dangerous. If you put a foot in the wrong place and stuff, you could go through the floor. Yeah, it's just so waterlogged, eh?
Why would they use it anymore?
Well, I think, you see, they would have drained it at a certain time. The land would have been drained and it wouldn't have been like this. But once you leave something for so long, the ground goes back to what it originally was. And this would have been a mad, like, natural Scottish forest at one time. Check how much moss is on everything. That's from the moisture at this time of year. Let's head back into this horror movie set, folks. That's the way to describe a place like this. Look at the way the beam's totally broken off there. It's like I just stood on every bit there that you shouldn't stand on. I tried to avoid it and my foot nearly went down the hole. Check this out, folks. I love the way this building's got these corridors and like just so many rooms and you never know what's round the corner. And I love sharing history like this and like showing the Channel DJ even like where stuff like this is located in the Glen. It's an absolute madness. The more years that pass, places like this are just decaying more and more. And you can see it by how far like the wall and stuff's sticking out there. Like, you can see the original big screws up there that when they built it. Crazy scenes, folks.
It's literally just the corrugated iron and the wood, is it?
Yeah. It's just wild, eh? Just the wooden, like tongue and groove partitions and the corrugated iron. And I think there is a bit of a wooden frame like on the outside of the corrugated iron. Like there's one of those things to stop the door hitting the wall. But the door's long gone. The old Bakelite light switches. That's when light switches made a proper noise. Nowadays it's just a little plastic nugget. Check those tiles, it's almost a greeny black oil colour. If you look at the reflection of the window there in them, it's such a cool type of tile. I would have that in my house to this day. Things like that are on their way out though, folks. The old way of living, the old Scottish history. Places like this that was a way of life in the Scottish shooting industry, it's like totally changing nowadays. It's more just like a one day thing. They'll be up, having a shoot and then home to their own beds. Whereas this used to be maybe staying for a week. Then they would spend so much more time in a place like this. and also the money people spent. It was a rich man's game back at that time, where now the common man would have a lot more to do with shooting. And you don't need as much money to go shooting nowadays on a Scottish estate. In the early days, it was like, just estate owners, the elite. Check out here, look. That's getting worse and worse. And then it's cool, I think, to come in this door when you visit the place, because you can actually get an aspect of the length of it and the size. Yeah, you can see the woodwork here on the porch even. It's so cool. The character of abandoned history right there, folks. Documented once again. It's obviously a different time of year. Last time I walked right down the back because it wasn't so wheat. But what an adventure it's been. Sometimes it's cool just doing a shorter video like that too, just kind of walk about. I would say that room I thought was spooky the last time I was here. It's no so spooky today, but I think it's because there's more light getting into it. Because there's no the same greenery around the back. At one time it would have had the grand bay windows here, and I think they would have sat in there. It would have been like a dining room, or they might have had even like important meetings and stuff like that in there. But I think both those windows would have been identical at one time. It looks so cool because it's made of the tin as well. In America you would expect more tin and wood construction, but here in Scotland it's a rare thing. But back in the early 1900s, this company, that's what they did. And that was what they actually made. That was their business. It was like prefabricated structures. They would bring them probably to a site like this and then just assemble them. Certain bits like the porch, they've had a cement. Oh, I can hear them shooting. Let's get out of here. Let's bail out of this location, folks. I can hear shooting further up the glen. Yeah, folks, that was cool to see that. We can literally hear gunshots in the distance further up the glen, so we're getting right out of here. We'll let the estate carry on with its daily workings. Luckily there is a proper track to go back down to the main road, so it's not so bad. There is another abandoned property nearby here, but we can return another day to see it. So it's crazy how a building like that can just be hidden within a Scottish forest. It's so cool to explore it and see it, like, the character of it in the damp, dark forest. And it's a small bit of history almost forgotten, and again, nobody really even knows it's there. And the first time I found it was like this year. I've only ever been there one time before, and I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. Again, the character of that in each little room. Can you try and imagine what history had gone on there in a place like that? And it was cool the last time to find out about the shooting history, and I even learnt about the Scottish shooting because of a building like that. And it's amazing how much it has changed from the old days to days now. They couldn't even afford to have a place like that running on a Scottish estate nowadays. But for sure, Scottish estates still make most of their money from the shooting side of things rather than anything else. At one time they did agriculture, forestry, fishing and shooting and loads of other things too, but now everything's dying. The shooting's one of the few things that's still on the go. Right folks, that's us just about back down at the main road, so I'll end this one here. We've managed to get out of this location without getting shot, but if anything kicks off, I'll update you for sure. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye for me, goodbye for the channel DJ, and we'll catch you very soon in the next adventure. So catch me if I fall.
sitting here praying that this night's gonna last.